The role of the state in taxation and finance is one of the most fundamental pillars of modern civilization, because without an organized system of revenue collection, no government can function effectively or deliver services that citizens depend on. Taxation is not merely the act of taking money from people. It is the structured method through which a nation funds public goods, maintains law and order, supports economic development, and ensures stability during both prosperity and crisis. Every modern state, regardless of size, ideology, or stage of development, relies on taxation as the backbone of its financial system. At its core, taxation serves three major purposes: revenue generation, economic regulation, and redistribution of wealth. Revenue generation is the most obvious because governments need money to operate. Roads, schools, hospitals, defense, electricity, water, and digital infrastructure all require continuous funding. In developing countries, taxation often determines how quickly a nation can grow, while in advanced economies, it ensures that public systems remain functional and competitive. Without steady tax revenue, governments would be forced to rely on excessive borrowing, donations, or unsustainable resource extraction, which ultimately weakens sovereignty and economic stability. The second purpose, economic regulation, is just as vital. Through taxes, governments can influence behavior, encourage beneficial activities, and discourage harmful ones. Higher taxes on tobacco, pollution, and luxury goods reduce excessive consumption and protect public health, while lower taxes on essential goods, investment, and small businesses stimulate growth. Tax incentives attract foreign investors, tax rebates support local industries, and progressive tax systems ensure that those with higher income contribute more to the nation's development. This ability to shape economic behavior gives the state enormous power to guide a country's long-term direction. The third purpose, redistribution of wealth, attempts to reduce inequality by using tax revenue to fund social programs that help vulnerable groups. Welfare, pensions, unemployment benefits, free or subsidized education and healthcare all rely on tax-funded budgets. Without these redistributive policies, societies risk deep polarization where only the wealthy thrive while the majority struggle without opportunity. A stable society requires fairness, and the state plays a central role in maintaining that balance. Taxation, however, does not operate in isolation, because it is tightly connected to the broader system of public finance. Public finance includes budgeting, borrowing, managing national debt, and determining how money is allocated across sectors. A government must balance income and expenditure carefully, otherwise inefficiency, corruption, or overspending can lead to severe crises. When spending exceeds tax revenue, governments borrow either domestically or internationally, and if managed responsibly, debt can actually support development. Borrowing for infrastructure, education, or technology can generate future economic returns. But if borrowing becomes excessive or is used for political gain instead of productive investment, it can harm the entire nation. The state, therefore, must ensure responsible fiscal management through transparent budgets, independent auditing, and long-term planning. The role of the state in taxation and finance becomes even more crucial during economic shocks. In times of recession, conflict, natural disaster, or global crises such as pandemics, taxpayers alone may not be able to sustain the economy. Governments step in with stimulus packages, subsidies, banking support, and emergency welfare payments. These actions require strong financial foundations and trust in government institutions. Countries with poor tax systems or weak financial oversight struggle during crises because they lack the resources and stability needed to protect citizens. Effective taxation also depends on fairness and public acceptance. If people believe that the system is corrupt, unfair, or too complicated, tax avoidance increases, which weakens the state. For taxation to work, citizens must feel that the government uses revenue responsibly and that services are delivered efficiently. Transparency, digital tax systems, and anti-corruption reforms help build this trust. Another key role of the state is to modernize the financial system. Today, digital payments, online tax portals, electronic invoicing, and automated auditing tools make revenue collection faster, more accurate, and less dependent on human intermediaries. When governments adopt modern tax administration technologies, leakage decreases, compliance increases, and economic data becomes more reliable. Reliable data allows the state to plan better, allocate resources efficiently, and forecast future risks. In globalized economies, states must also adapt taxation to cross-border trade, digital businesses, multinational corporations, and international finance. Large companies often shift profits across borders to reduce their tax burden, which can cause significant revenue loss, especially for developing nations. To address this, many countries cooperate through global tax agreements, shared data networks, and unified standards to ensure fairness. The state must remain active in these negotiations to protect national interests. Taxation and finance are also linked to national security. Governments need funds to maintain defense systems, secure borders, protect critical infrastructure, and support intelligence operations. Weak financial systems make nations vulnerable to external pressure and internal instability. Thus, a strong tax system directly contributes to sovereignty. Moreover, the state must ensure that taxation evolves with the economy. As digital commerce, automation, artificial intelligence, and cryptocurrency reshape traditional systems, governments must introduce new tax rules to ensure that revenue streams remain stable. Without adaptation, economies risk losing billions in untaxed wealth. Ultimately, the role of the state in taxation and finance is about maintaining balance between growth, stability, fairness, and long-term sustainability. A strong and transparent tax system empowers a government to uplift its citizens, invest in the future, and respond to crises with resilience. When citizens understand how taxes support national development, they develop a sense of shared responsibility. A well-managed financial system turns tax revenue into progress and ensures that economic opportunities are not concentrated in the hands of a few, but distributed across society. In the end, taxation is not just about money, but about trust, governance, and the collective strength of a nation.